Bishop Undurdog over here with Lumpz 1. I'm about to get this interview going. You know,
happening.
What do you call the studio right here?
This is the Silence to Sound Laboratory.
Silence to Sound.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
We move around a lot. This is where we're at for now.
Nice. So as you can
Welcome,
see,
you guys.
setup is nice, proper. I like it. You know.
Thanks,
I
man.
definitely like this one here, which is a new addition.
Yeah, that's the new edition.
We over here just gonna ask him a few questions and get to know this man right here, this artist that go by Lumpz 1, which,
Get to know me.
by the way, let the people know the reason behind the name, you know?
My name Lumpz.
Yeah, what's
Well, it's funny, dude. Alright, so I used to write graffiti a lot, especially in like middle school and early high school before I really got into making music. And I had a buddy, his name's Mike Medina. Wherever you're at, I remember you there forever. We're chilling in art class, and I always had my hair like basically how it is now, you know, gentleman's cut, comb back. But at this point in time, I shaved it one night, dude, and it was just one of those things. I shaved my head bald, and went to school, had a beanie on. The teacher's like, "You gotta take your beanie off." So I take my beanie off, my head's all bald. And this dude starts cracking up, and he's like, "Oh, you should stop writing." I forgot. I think I was writing like wisdom or whatever. I didn't have like a tag. I always just wrote whatever I wanted whenever we were out painting. You know what I mean, dude? And he said, "You should write lumps, because your head's all fucked up." So, you know, we fucked with the letters, dude, just joking. And it looked badass, dude. Like, if you ever see Lumpz in some cool, wild style letters, it looks badass. So I was like, yeah, it's cool. And then, of course, there's this dude, Joey Clark. He's in Alaska. And he got me into like really freestyling and teaching me like more into being more creative with my words, and so we would sit in art class doing graffiti or writing lyrics, and then we would freestyle and like just like hip hop, dude.
Yep, exactly.
Like just the pure essence of just freedom and rebellion, and like the way hip hop was for youngsters then. Well, even before that generation, it was already kind of dying off. Like at that time, the 50 Cent was barely getting real famous. You know what I mean? Like with Wankster and shit like that a couple years later, dude. So like fucking... Anyways, Lumpz. So I wrote it, dude. They looked cool and I kept it. And then just added the one, and then the exclamation mark's actually a rest in peace sign to Q. I don't know if you ever recorded with him, but he used to have a studio on Central and Espanola. And he did my first 2 albums. He did another 2 group albums I did when I was in a live band called Questionable Ethics. And it was just crazy.
Nice. Lumpz 1, huh?
Lumpz 1, man.
That's dope.
That's the story, dude. My head's fucked up.
That's the story. My head's fucked up. That's good. You gotta get a piece of that mind state, bro.
What's happening, listeners? You know the name. Man, I've been at this for a long time now, and I still feel like I'm running around in circles. You know what I'm saying, man? Yeah. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I guess I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm going for my boarded running, yet it seems like the challenge disappears and everything's routine. Never dissatisfied when it's time to leave my dreams, cause it's a new day to try another way to flee away from my mind and all the things it thinks. Make music for the people, no longer just for me. Appreciate being alive, repping Duke City streets. Still trying to puff a dime without bumping into police. Speak a little softer since I lost my voice. Stress from I'm the best as I made from bad choices. Left me, filling the world, and when I was noiseless, I thought the chance would never arrive till I hoisted everything inside. Now my music's got a voice that lets off melodies from my soul, brought my voice back. Noise that soothes, grooves, moves, and improves, changes mood, stays in tune, ways it used to return back to you. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I guess I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm going for another interview, and not the kind you do right after rocking the stage and walk off, but for a J.O.B. Cause I need money. Records just not moving, cause I'm not hustling. Don't feel like begging people at the mall to buy my album. Too old to be getting escorted out of the place. A wasted talent with skills, no doubt. It's sad and depressing, mad at it, it's stressful. People laugh at me, just forget them. Hearing voices in my head again, it's showing through my exit. Storming out of offices, not record execs. Yet another place of employment. Turn to unemployment checks, bet it all on myself. Lose that too, then what's next, man? Below rock bottom sentiments, and still keep composure, cause life isn't over. But then again, each day we get a little closer. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I guess I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm going deeper inside of my subconscious, lost on a path for 13 years of wandering. The songs that I made in 08 couldn't be conjured, cause the Lumpz, one of today's a whole different monster. I paused for almost 6 months to recover. Now that I'm back, got a whole other scuffle right in front of me. Nothing seen is never not tough in me. Suffering is just buffering for what's to be. Reluctantly I stepped away to move forward. No matter how high I get, I'm always feeling low. And spit on by the ones who never liked the way we growed up. Hold up, incorrect grammar, smarter than that, man. I've stayed up out of the slammer, so I write properly. Don't have to stop to breathe, keep conditioned optimally. Optimistically attempt to rock the beat, never negatively hesitant. I move forward again and just keep on running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I guess I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. Running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I guess I'm running in circles at a steady pace, headed straight into nowhere. I'm going. Lumpz one, ambitious visions, mood swinging. Peace.
How long you been getting on this hip hop?
About 15 years, dude. Really, 8th grade, dude. It's Dark and Hell is Hot by DMX. That album came out when I was in 8th grade, 98. And I remember I heard the song Let Me Fly, and it inspired me to be able to find an outlet for all these different feelings and anger and curiosities. You know, you're young, so I wrote like little baby lyrics and shit, but I didn't get into it deep until I was about 15. And that's when I started doing like battles in school and going to other schools and battling fools and then fucking freestyling at parties that I shouldn't be at.
Yep.
You know, dude, so I'd say 15 years. It's just I've always had it's always been I've never really had a full consistency. I'll do real good for like a while, and then of course it's like I get bored with like doing the same thing over and over, because I see myself overseas and in other places, but this is where I see myself. And like, the universe and whatnot, we're not aligned together at that time yet, so I always do something that goes it off instead of just kind of going with the flow the way I've been doing lately. And since I started just kind of riding the wave and still pursuing and learning and executing, but you know, it's been a 15-year ride, dude.
Do you still call your music hip hop?
That's a hard one, dude, because nowadays you have so many different fusions and so many different genres that don't really exist that people are making up on their own. And so like, the core of my music is hip hop. The core of it is hip hop. But like, it's branching out to like, sometimes it's all even singing, there's jazz, there's swing, there's fucking rock, there's psychedelic, but it's all cored into hip hop. But like this album that I'm gonna put out soon called Mood Swinging, that's a psychedelic Latin hip hop album. And then this EP I'm putting out, I guess you could just call it a hip hop project because there's really, there's no, you know what I mean, dude? So like, I don't know what kind of music I make anymore. I mean, it's hip hop.
At its core.
Yeah, at its core, but like each project, cause like I don't just make tracks anymore, like I'll make an EP. So everything in this EP, it's not gonna sound the same on every song, but it's gonna have like a vibe or some sort of connection with each other. And then we're gonna do an album that, like, let's say like the Insomniac Hours, all three of them have a certain connection. They all sound different from each other, but they still have the same connection, so there's a similarity between them. And when you go to projects before that, I mean, I got like 14 albums, dude. Like, I've dropped mad records, dude. All of them different. And I think that's the only way I can do music, dude. Like, I could never, like back in 08, I put out this album called Fungi Muzak, which to this day seemed to be like the album that people remember of mine the most. And I can't even perform those songs because I'm talking about shit that I don't do anymore. At that time, I was running the streets, drinking, doing drugs, selling drugs, you know, partying. I don't do none of that shit now. I smoke weed, I go to work, I come to work. I play with the dog, I chill with the lady. I'm a family man, you know what I mean, dude?
Another one of those times on a wonderful night, staying up without ice, so crack smoking devices. Can't sleep, so I find shit to do till my eyelids fall close to the time is up for any reclining. Rest, I don't need it unless I'm on me, and I don't mean ecstasy. Stay blessed on good weed and still can't fall to sleep unless the sun rises, or if I get between my lady friends they dies. I might have inherited traits of insomniac ways. My mother just, for example, sleeps an hour a day. I don't exaggerate or tell tall tales for feeble minds of the ignorant, literate, thinking of hateful evil, but speak for those who relate and stay up late past sunrise. Eyes only low from the effects of when blunts lie. Moonlight brings energy, fatigue comes from sunshine. I walk both night and days and weeks are like one night. While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made her another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most have crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made her another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most have crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? 3 a.m. isn't nothing to me. My keyboard bangs mountaintops from an old town duplex. I move through snoozes, watches tick. Stop, crumble, roll spliffs. Getting high writing scripts. Iron clothes for my shift. Go out and see some crackheads. Even a nice part of town in Duke City's a mess. I remember 2 a.m. quest, trying to get rid of what's left. Those times are gone, now my grind's a little different. Still ain't signing contracts, just rental leases and such. Touch guitar strings and pluck right before I light up. Stuff zigzags, puff pipes, bong, smoke in my lungs. All of the night's work. Trying to get tired, my sight blurs. Around 6 a.m. then adrenaline kicks right in to consume my dreams. The constant consciousness, stress congests most, but to me inspires. Life keeps me awake like wind to New Mexico fire. While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made her another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most have crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made her another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most have crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? Waiting on sunrise, debating on what time. Awake without one line, just baked in I feel fine. Lemon haze or Russian nights, together they taste nice. Experience late nights like bats in nature. My wax is made from a rare batch of sacred aware cats. Attained and prepared to scratch the pavement. I last the haters who crash cause lazy. My past don't faze me, I laugh for hatred.
A master fakers a drag can take them lower levels than hell. Swell times I imagine. Accidents happen, traffic jams don't unless they come after. Stab wounds turn to bricks. If survived, understand me. Life's a one-way trip. Stay up, stop, relax. The stats is rising for rapid. The casualty climb after being at the bottom, lost and rotten, stuck in a cash drought recently. Stacks count me in the quota, so I'm awake plotting on seeing the whole world, becoming a master in this old art. While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most are crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? While you were sleeping, I stayed up, smoking the creeper. Indeed, I made another CD for my heads. Who's up? But most are crashed out. We stay awake. Who's up? Ridicule don't sleep. Rock on. Dice stats don't sleep neither. 3x low never sleeping either. Lumpz 1 never sleeping either. Even if I've been blowing reefer. Yes sir. Duke City representing, but I'm somewhere else. That's the phone. I gotta go. Peace.
And my life really rotates. It always revolves around this room pretty much, dude. Like, I love the studio. Started off with this, dude. This is what started the studio. It's just this little piece, all by itself. And then it grew, dude. And it took like 10 years. And I almost have everything I need to do what I want.
You make your own beats and everything and whatnot, so
Yeah, man, thanks, man. Like, this is my fucking
got your
church.
guitars, you know what I mean?
This is my temple, dude. This is
Definitely.
This is
Got
where
your drums.
I have my little bongos. I haven't played them in a while, dude.
Yeah, banged them out. Well,
I haven't, dude. I have them in one of my albums, dude. I didn't put them in any of my recent projects because I want to get some congas, I want to get a cajon, and then I want to get a djembe. And then what I want to do is I want to do a whole album where all the beats consisted of just hand drums and percussions. No keyboards, no synths, no guitars, no bass, just rhymes over drums like the Lost Poets from like the fucking 70s and shit, dude, from New York, dude. The Lost Poets were like some of the first like rapping over drums. I mean, it was just poetry, it was spoken word poetry over bongos and congas. But I want to do something similar, but just with rapping, you know, because I'm not a poet, dude. I'm a singer, I'm a vocalist, an MC, you know what I mean, dude? But yeah, I love those. I make what I feel, how I feel at that moment in time.
exactly.
And then since I do make my own beats, all sample free and play music, which I do get a lot of shit for that too, dude, within the hip hop community here, because here in New Mexico, the underground style of hip hop is real East Coast. They're real stuck on East Coast, dude, like, and I mean, nothing wrong with it, but it's like there's no Southwest pride, you know?
Exactly.
Like so, like if they hear any rapper at all that symbolizes his culture outside of backpack hip hop and MC battle rap, whatever the fuck, all of a sudden they gotta belittle them in some way. So like if a cholo rapper that has skills goes and drops some ill shit, just because he's using his cholo terminology, all of a sudden these underground people are like, oh man, that's that cholo rap out. Then they give it a chance. You know, forgetting that one of the most classic hip hop songs was Kid Frost was fucking No Sunshine. You know what I'm saying, dude? He's like time through the hourglass, and then no one even remembers that shit. You know, and then when you look at other things like, especially out here, let's say you have like you have that going on, they kind of frown on it, and then it gets classified as this. You know, and then me always having more of an ear for an underground type of sound. Of course, I've been surrounded within these circles when I was younger, and that's the only outlets I went to where I really couldn't join up or click up or go and do certain things because there was a clash in styles, because my music has always been revolved around my feelings and what's going on with the world and myself. And so my music from 2008 has more of like a street party or druggy sound, and my music of today has more of a conscious sound. You know what I mean, dude? Because I'm two different people between then and now. And like you said on the CD you're working on, that shows the same thing. You have the person you were, the person you were becoming, the person you are. You know what I mean, dude? And fucking like, that's the same thing on my side, dude. Is the person I was like more accepted in other, you know, because I drank and parties, and I do parties in my house. Of course I'm gonna be more socially accepted. Of course more people are gonna go to my shows because I'm fun to party with after the club, or I have the apartment everybody's gonna go fucking tear up. You know what I mean, dude? Then when you quit drinking, start reading, start writing, start thinking, start learning. All that positive stuff that you thought, all that negative shit that you thought was positive starts disappearing, and you come into a real positive light, and you realize your circle was so much smaller. And then your shows on the local aspect become so much smaller, because you're not going to gain fans as a local legend who should have already made it. You know what I'm saying, dude? Out-of-towners might hear your shit and be like, damn, I want that motherfucker to come out here. There might only be 50 people, promoters not going to pay you for that. You know what I mean? It is a business. So you get stuck in that artist circle, and you just got to find what works. You know what I mean, dude?
Yep, I feel you.
So I'm trying to figure it out like everybody else.
I said hide it, don't hide it. I wanna go work my eyelids. The product that I've been finding is so good, but I can't buy it. Too often, but I get prices so low when you can't find none. Stay high, son, it ain't dry junk. This desert is filled with fine stuff. Full shit when you shit about this. Believe you about who beats and it's up in the biz. Well, I'm becoming a split, but I'm becoming to get go. I'm becoming when they get close. I'm sit in the big one. I'm gonna get this before the ounce. I'm the border bounce for the local crowd. That's the whole down. To get the in the bit of hat. Get the music with. Take that down, so burn it down. Burn it down! Lights it up, turn blunts it up, roll up, we cook, so we take a puff, so we burn it down! Burn it down! Lights it up, turn blunts it up, roll up, we pump, so we take a puff. I think we can get a little bit louder. What do you think, Bert? Yeah! Say burn it down! Burn it down! Burn it down! There you go. Gotta put one in the paper. Never save this shit for later. Just get on the grind, take a blow of the dime. I'm gonna with time to get played up. Gonna get the munches, baby. Gonna put my car keys anyway. Gotta go and get rooms if I'm over the too much bucks and get pucks up the grade A. Trying to stop for a couple days, but I love to play, so I put it in the bowl. Remember rituals and a hook that you roll, man. I put my man on musical notes. But he's supposed to provoke and to take a token to let them know me out of my zone and lose control and make attempts to take it and keep the bones. They burn it down! Burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts it up, roll up, we pump till we take a bump, they burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts it up, roll up, we pump till we take a bump. Never that is a miss twisted. We get in the car, we get blitzed. Roll up in the bar with the split. Take tokes of the green smoke, get lit. Group sitting in the house, so they go on and out. So they party out, making people shout, coming in and down. So they hit it down to the sound, so we put it down. On the right, the city going down. So we roll green and I flow free on the low key with the HP with the nosies and the homies. Even if people that don't know me, running the low, so I'm lonely. Like that, yeah, so many like that. So I can find that all of my madness. I'm trying to battle my own habits, but I'm blazing the fire like dragons. Say burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff, say burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff, say burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff, then burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff, then we burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff, then we burn it down! Light it up, turn blunts at us, roll up, we crooks and we take a puff.
I'm telling all you artists to do what I'm doing. Try to get your music in a fucking movie, a video game, a TV commercial. You're not selling out because you're not going to sell any records anyway. No one is. It's all free nowadays. There's Pandora and Spotify and YouTube. Those three alone.
And illegal downloading.
And illegal downloading.
Back to the music, you know, what do you as an artist listen to in terms of music?
Well, what we were listening to earlier I like Parliament. I like Funkadelic, which is Parliament. It's the same band, different record company. Oh, this one here is badass. I Love Supreme by John Coltrane.
This is Grover Washington one too. This fucker's bad, dude. It's like some soul shit.
Inner City Blues, but he plays that shit on the fucking horn, dude.
Yeah.
Before we see it has all kinds of ill shit, dude. Like this one's pretty dope. I think it's this one. It's been a while, dude. I didn't have a record player in a long time, dude.
Shit. I bought records before I had a record player. Because my mindset was, I'm going to get 2 turntables and a mixer.
Well, like, I want to do
that
all
was
that.
Like I love, like, for me, I love that. Like, that's my first introduction to real hip-hop, you know what I mean? Artists doing freestyles and shit like that, and, you know, that was my intro. I was like, man, that's badass. You can switch from this to that with this thing.
Oh, dude, I would love it, dude. But, like, for now, dude, I've just been dying just to listen.
Yeah.
Because I just to have it. There's a lot of Marvin Gaye songs on this one, dude. This wasn't the record, dude, but this was still dope shit. I like old school though right now, dude. That's like my biggest thing, dude.
What are the most used instruments you got in it?
My baby. This is Gina.
Gina? Like you said, Gina.
No, this is Gina. This is Sabrina. Sabrina is just a trophy. She died. And Gina's alive and kicking. This is the one I use the most. And this.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, let's get even deeper. This is the instrument I use the most. Exactly. This right here, though, dude, I don't use the pads. Some people prefer the pads, like MPC users will be liking the pads. But because I've done it on a keyboard first, this is my first way of making beats. I bought a Casio keyboard, dude, and so like I'm more comfortable with the keys, you know what I mean, dude? And like you have to do your drum beats, you know, your hi-hats and shit, and you do it all like track by track, dude, and you make beats, you know how it goes, dude. Yeah. And this is my fucking instrument, dude. Like this is the core of it. I will not write lyrics without a beat. I make music for musicians to critique and enjoy, and for the audience members to listen to and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I want that fucking dude who's been playing guitar classically trained for like 40 years, who hates hip hop music, to then go and be like, damn, I like this shit right here.
Yep.
You hear this diminishing, you know, fucking 7th and 6th. I don't know music. I'm by ear person, but you know, you still have to learn technique and form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, there's learn music, then make music. You know,
learn music before you make music.
Like you know, don't be afraid to be in band. Be in band and don't give up your instrument ever. Don't.
It's all clear. The war zone. You know, a lot of you don't see it. I see this in the hood all the time. But over here in the hood, it's everywhere. Tell me who do you believe in? Just think about it. When everybody seems deceiving, you want me to bring your attention? And your life has no meaning. Shit, we see everything. Check this.
The acts of our women chain react to our children. So if poverty's stricken, child beauty is taken, inner demons awaken. When her body starts shaking, their belly starts aching. Cause dope is all that she's cooking. No matter how hungry they're looking, she's always out on a mission. Sucking dicks in the kitchen, all they can do is listen. She a 10-year-old, 5-year-old, and an infant, brought to this world by a girl who beats them senseless. Now that it's known, they alone and they defenseless. Their mama's friends walk on in and they get molested. Damn. Burn scars and swollen jaws is all that they're left with. This goes on for so long, they wish they was lifeless. But now what's this? An angel seeking out justice. Her name's Justine, spent her days praying. Said images in a dream, led her to the children's scream. As streams of blood, tears fall from statue saints. Tell me, who do you believe in? Should we? When everybody seems deceiving, should we? And and your life has no meaning.
Feel like everybody's dreaming. Now tell me, who do you look up to? When everybody trying to fuck with you, and you got no clue what to do. Shout out to all the youngsters, man.
He was just 13 when he got jumped in. After he got ranked in, say he'll die for his team. Guess he forgot how it felt to be proud of something. Shit's been so tough since his mom and dad split up. Then his older brother, whom he always looked up, moved in with his father, so he felt just like his mother. Abandoned, forgotten in a world with no empathy. The game was his outlet, his only family. But tragedy seems to always strike twice. Thought raising his rank would bring more value to his life, so he loaded his rounds, took a ride round town. Saw the colors of his rival game, that's when he slowed down. Without thinking about it, he went and emptied his clip. The flash from his gun left him with a mere glimpse. Saw the face of his brother while he took his last breath. Turned the gun on himself, hoping the shot would call death.
Tell me, who do you believe in? When everybody seems deceiving,
and your life has no meaning, no meaning.
Feel like everybody's dreaming. Tell me, who do y'all look up to? When everybody trying to fuck with you, and y'all got no clue what to do. I've been there, y'all listen.
Sometimes it seems like it couldn't get any worse. Make me wanna holler with my dick in the dirt. Fuck the world, including everything in it. Cause when I express myself, they say I need a gimmick. I ain't here to entertain, I'm here to tell you about the pain. Healing in the city near the alley where there's cane. Pimps and pushers, simps and hustlers, and the people with no shame. That's an innocent youth.
Claiming that cleansing from the rain.
Can it get any more clearer than that?
Y'all feeling that?
This is the city now.
See, this is just some shit we go through over here in the war zone. You know, a lot of you don't see it where you living at. But over here in the hood, it's everywhere. Tell me, who do you believe